Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Secondary Heroes podcast. Join us this week as we celebrate St. Patrick's Day by watching and reviewing the amazing 1993 classic, Leprechaun. This is your host, Trevor, and joining me as usual is...
Hey guys, it's Danny Boy.
Cracked open a Guinness for this one. Actually, I needed a full six-pack to watch this movie. This is DeLorean Wolfgang.
Spoiled it right off the top. I thought we were going to maybe go on spoiler-free if maybe somebody liked it.
Wait, what do you mean? How do you know that I didn't like it? It's a great drinking movie.
It's a great drinking movie, sure.
You're a drinker.
I don't drink, so I had to white knuckle through the whole thing.
You can at least white claw it, but that's okay.
That was a good one.
I've also stopped drinking, but because of this podcast, I had a Guinness.
Of course. Very nice. Nice hat, too. By the way,
Yeah,
for those
got this in Switzerland on St. Patty's Day a few years back. Because everybody celebrates St. Patty's Day.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay, let's get into this. Sounds like you guys really don't want to, though.
Not really, but we can, because we're here for that. So that's why
we are here for that.
Did you already say the movie title?
Yes.
I don't listen at all.
No.
Okay.
That shows in our last episode where I'm like, gone. Anyways.
Anyway, yes, okay. It's Leprechaun here, folks. The legendary Leprechaun film from 1993.
Ooh, and it's rated R, so put the kids to bed early. Because we're going to watch some Leprechaun stuff.
Not because of the R rating, but because of how bad the film is.
Wow, is that your spoiler free already off the bat? Oh, man. Well, should we at least give a synopsis? An evil, sadistic leprechaun goes on a killing rampage in search for his beloved pot of gold. Wow, that's the most simplified little... so simple.
I didn't know there was a synopsis to the film, so that's fantastic.
Yeah, at least
starring Warwick Davis from Star Wars fame.
And Jennifer Aniston of Friends. Just like you guys. You guys are my friends.
Oh.
Thanks.
Friend of the show, Jennifer Aniston.
Of course.
Good call on that one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Still waiting for her to be a guest. We need to work something out with the agent.
We were working for this episode for her to come on and talk about it.
Fell through, but that's okay.
You've had a fantastic career, but all we want to talk about is Leprechaun. 1993, baby. Yes.
So how did this movie do when it came out there, Trevor?
Well, yeah.
Me?
Alex.
I don't know.
Oh, he doesn't know.
1993. I was like 5 years old. Frog, I thought this was up your alley. I thought you were there opening night.
I was not there opening night. So, fun fact, before the podcast, we were discussing this, and I honestly didn't realize there were two separate movies between Leprechaun and Troll. I always thought they were the same movie. So, I don't know what I watched as a kid. It was one of them, I think. I do remember some lines from this film, so it might have been this film, but the way the Troll looks when I look at the Troll cover for that film series, I remember that. So I don't know. I'm sure it's equally as bad, but yeah, if it's something that I cannot remember actually watching, I'm sure it wasn't that great or well received when it came out, would be my guess.
I feel like Troll would be a way more fun movie than this.
I would hope so.
Oh, no. Not Trolls Do World Tour or whatever. We're talking about the horror movie.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry. Not the new Trolls movie, which I'm sure is just as bad.
With Anna Kendrick and Justin Timberlake?
Not that one.
I got this feeling. You've been copywritten. Okay.
Yeah, easy.
Well, let's see. What does IMDb say about this movie? Ooh, 4.8 out of 10. And that's 24,000 people rated it. So, now on Rotten Tomatoes, though, for the tomato meter, we got 21%, and the audience score 32%. I'm almost feeling like that's high.
I feel like some people felt bad for the movie and didn't just give it like the worst score possible.
Some people were high when they watched the movie when it first came out. They're like, "This is ridiculous."
Well, the weird thing is like it became like it was just absolutely panned when it originally came out, but Like, I feel like it gained that cult status, and I think the cult status really came because of all the sequels.
Sure.
Yeah, speaking of sequels, I did suggest to the guys that we start with Leprechaun Back to the Hood, but
yeah,
sadly we did not. We could have and probably should have because there's no continuity. In case you don't know, there's been 8 Leprechaun films. There's 1, 2, and 3, and then 4 is in space. 5, he goes to the hood.
Space.
6, he goes back to the hood. 7,
Hood.
it's Leprechaun Origins, and then 8 is Leprechaun Returns.
Woo!
And I think by 8, it looks like The Hobbit. It looks like there's a ring on the front. It like has all this like Lord of the Rings art style going to it.
Well, and I think that's the only one. No, the last 2 are the only 2 that doesn't have Warwick Davis. And the reason behind that is because Warwick Davis, after he had kids, he said, "I'm done making rated R movies. I want to make more family friendly movies so my kids can look back and family friendly."
I thought maybe it was because he wanted to stop being in bad films, but yeah, that works too. All right,
How
that's
much
a good.
does he get paid for these movies, though?
Dude, that guy's got to be making a bundle because these are so terrible, and there's people like us who are sitting there watching it. So
He was paid with
and now
Monkey
we're
John.
talking about it.
Yes.
And if you would like to watch this movie before we do spoil it entirely, you can stop now. If you've seen this movie, if you could care less, because there's no way you can spoil a bad movie,
No.
it is available
there's
to
no way.
stream on Peacock. So you can sign up for a 7-day free trial just to watch all of the Leprechaun movies. They're all on Peacock. You can be like, boom.
And Peacock is just a fun word to say. Peacock. So there you go. You can stream it on Peacock.
They really didn't think about that, did they?
Nope.
Or they did.
Or
was
they
viral
did,
marketing.
but yeah.
Meet us over at the Peacock. Anyways, so should we dive in on this thing?
Well, let's go for our socials. Where can people... So I do want to let everyone know, we've talked about movies in the past. We've also reviewed Mandalorian. We've reviewed WandaVision. We're about to review Falcon and the Winter Soldier. But every so often we review movies. And this is news to Alex of what we're doing next. But regardless, let us know if you would like us to watch any movie like Leprechaun or something in the past. And it might show up on a future episode.
Yeah, you might be like, you know what? I remember this movie being terrible, but loving it as a kid. I want them to review it and watch it.
Is this what's happening now? We're just gonna review bad stuff? Like
Not
we're
necessarily.
doing good stuff too.
Right? It could be good stuff. It could be a great film.
I don't know. I think reviewing bad movies is kind of fun.
It was. We'll see. Let's do this today, and we'll find out.
Let's find out.
Okay, yeah, let's see how fun this is.
Yes.
Sorry.
Socials.
Yeah, the socials. My bad, guys. Hey. If you guys haven't already, make sure you go to Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube, all at Secondary Heroes, because that's where we're at. You're going to see us, and you're going to hit that subscribe button. Then you're going to go down the line, and you're just going to like every video on YouTube. Or you can like everything on Instagram or Facebook, YouTube, whatever. It doesn't matter, because we like the likes, and we like you for liking the likes. Yeah, and then go over to iTunes and rate and review our podcast. Give us a 5-star rating because it's fun, and it always looks good to see 5 gold stars. And all of this is free for you and priceless to us. Down the hatch.
Sounds good. So, try as they will, try as they might, who steals my gold won't live through the night. That's the essentially start of this movie, and that was about where I lost interest.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I lost interest right once the what was it? Who is it? Try feature or whatever. Some real bad company who produced it.
I knew I was in trouble when the main character. Well, I thought was going to be the main character was named Dan, so it was named me and was called Danny Boy. I'm like, oh boy, here we go. And then he broke the urn in like the opening shot. I'm like, oh boy, what are we in for? And then the terrible accents, and it was just. Oh, God. It was just one after the other. His just kept coming. It was like being beaten to death in the first few minutes of the film. It's great. It was great.
Was it like being beaten to death with a pogo stick?
Oh, that's later. Let's not spoil that.
Hold on. Because
it's probably the best scene of the whole movie.
That's a stretch.
I don't know. I
Yeah.
got 2 best scenes. That might be one of them. And the company's called Trimark, by the way.
Trimark, yes, which is a real company, yeah.
Yeah. Well, this was the first film for Trimark, produced in-house.
Yep. Yeah, that's for sure. That's for sure.
It shows. But you know what? The cool thing is, it might have been low budget in every way imaginable, but guess who they got? Jennifer Aniston.
The biggest star ever. Just not back in the day.
This was her film debut, folks.
It was. And it's kind of a miracle that she actually had a career after
this film, because her acting is something.
Atrocious.
To be fair, though, I mean, the script wasn't that great either. What else can you do with those lines? But yeah, it was awful.
Yeah.
Bad acting, bad writing. Yeah, it was a miracle. A miracle that she had not only a career, but a successful career after this. So, yeah, wow. Congrats to her for making out of this movie alive. Before
she does show up, though, we get to set up the entire movie. And so there's this one guy, his name is Dan. He comes up in a limo and he's like, "Hey, we're rich." And I thought this was his mom. It turns out this is his wife. And I didn't find that out until like 5 minutes later.
I got my father's ashes. What is happening? What?
I wrote down old lady he's talking to, and I had to cross it off.
Yes.
But wife.
She's clearly 30 years older than him. My goodness. Sorry, whoever like that actress is. I'm sorry.
Bad movie heaven.
Oh, let's not forget the expensive accents. My goodness. Okay.
They were good Leprechaun accents or Irish accents. Yeah. Everybody has fun Irish accents.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
So hold on. So at this point, he's going to his wife who lives in, is it North Dakota or was it New Mexico?
No, it's North Dakota. Jennifer Aniston jokes about it being New Mexico.
Okay. Actually, okay.
Oh, the whole time I thought they went to Northern California. I was so confused.
Oh my God, the fact that we all guessed.
Well, it looked like Northern California based on the setting, and the kid had a 49ers hat on. So I just went, they went
that was one of the worst
NorCal. All right, well.
This is embarrassing so far.
And it's not as embarrassing as the film, so it doesn't really matter. We can say whatever we want, it won't be as embarrassing as this.
Agreed. And so he breaks the urn, and then that's some bad voodoo. But the idea is that they're rich because he caught a leprechaun. So I think that would have been a better movie of him going to Ireland and catching a leprechaun. See this guy going to Ireland and catching a leprechaun. But instead, he's just back. Bars. And he says that we have all the gold and all that good stuff. And so he goes into the other room to, I don't know. I have no idea, but the wife goes,
right?
And she hears Mary Had a Little Lamb coming from the luggage by this creepy little kid. And she's like, well, let me investigate and unlatch this luggage because he might have literally just got off the plane and brought a creepy kid. Like the husband I'm married to.
Yeah, he must have kidnapped a child.
I thought that he kidnapped his child.
That's why he was rich. He had a ransom.
And so she opens the luggage and then the leprechaun pops out and she literally backs away, stumbles down the stairs, and falls heads over heels. Dude, I stopped and I had to rewind this because this was the best scene for me. Because they have that bone crack sound when she's literally, her head is completely head over heels. And
I don't think I've ever seen Trevor laugh this hard.
She's really head over heels for the leprechaun.
It's so bad. This old lady she's just broke her neck down the stairs by being scared.
Literally scared her to death.
Well, and their basement door was wide open for her to just back right into it too. Like, I don't know. Oh boy, this is going to be a long episode, isn't it?
I think it was at this point, though, I watched the movie knowing full well that they must have known that this was supposed to be a bad film. Like, there's just no way that they were like, oh, this is going to be our great claim to fame, like, horror movie. There's just no way. No way.
Well, okay.
It was so bad.
Who sat there and thought...
like a new Halloween or Friday the 13th. Leprechaun is going to be like Michael Myers. Let's go.
Oh, God, I hope
not. The newest Chucky.
God, yeah. I hope they didn't have that in their mind. I hope that wasn't part of their plan because
they made 8 movies, just like Jason, just like Freddy, just like
they did it anyways.
They did it anyways. Nobody cared. Nobody asked for it, but they did it, folks.
Yep. They sure
So,
did.
if you're an aspiring filmmaker at home, you don't have to make a next great, Oscar-winning film. You can make mad bank by making terrible movies, and you can consistently have a job. You can release 8 films over like 20-year period just by coming up with a stupid character that has horror in it.
Yeah.
Just make sure that one of your main characters is bound to be one of the biggest stars ever.
Yeah,
Then-
do a major talent search. Find somebody to put in your film. Spend all your money on that person and do nothing else with the budget. And there you go. Yeah.
And so after the wife is dead, the husband comes back and he's like, "Oh, whatever. I have a 4-leaf clover. Let me go get it, and I have a gun." And the best pose in this whole movie is when he's walking with the 4-leaf clover out in front of him with the gun. It's this little tiny 4-leaf clover.
It's like he's a vampire hunter with like
instead of a
garlic.
It's tiny.
Yeah. Little 4-leaf clover.
Well, and go ahead, Prague.
I just don't understand why 4-leaf clover would be dangerous to a leprechaun.
I don't
But-
either. It doesn't make any sense. You'd think that he eats them. I mean, they'd have to be all over Ireland.
Yeah, how does he survive?
Oh
How
my
does he walk
goodness.
around? Who knows anything?
And then he has the fun, catch me if you can, and he runs away. Your bullets won't stop me. I'll keep coming back. And so O'Grady crates him up, and then he puts the 4-leaf clover on top of the crate. Because as soon as you put it on top of the crate, all he loses all of his magic.
It's like Thor's hammer.
Yes.
It's like, here we go. We can't move now.
So, but he shot him, and he was throughout the movie. The thing is just absolute. He gets shot probably 1,000 times.
Oh, he takes a beating.
Well, hold on. When we get to the fight scene, I mean, that beating is. Anyways, he gets shot probably 1,000 times, but this one actually works because his magic is weak.
Yes.
Exactly.
Oh, cheese ball.
And so he's trapped in the crate, but luckily, even though his magic is depleted and the 4-leaf clover is on top of him, he has a chant to curse you for all eternity, and he jokes about the dude having a stroke. And literally, the dude's about to light a match and throw it on fire, and he has a stroke. And right there.
The timing of it all.
The stroke, man.
timing.
So he can't even toss the match. Like, he gets it lit, and he's ready to toss it, but he just has the stroke right then and there.
It was a stroke of bad luck.
Oh wow, there's gonna be a lot of these, aren't there, Prague?
Yeah, I think so.
I hope
yeah.
you wrote them all down because I wanna. These are
No,
good.
these are all just coming up to me right now. So here we go. This movie has inspired the pun in me. That's how bad.
Inspiring film, Leprechaun.
That's my quote for it. Yes, inspiring film.
I'm going on to Wikipedia and changing everything. This is
Do it
inspiring.
now. Yes.
So now we transition to 10 years later. So our introductory scene and the setup for the entire movie is set. And we have this "Won't You Be My 4-Leaf Clover" song. It's so outstanding, but it turns out it's not a real song. They made it just for this movie.
Which is disappointing because it's like the best song ever made.
It's heartbreaking.
That's what took us so long to start tonight, is looking for that song.
It does not. But it's that classic, like late 80s, early 90s, like pan over the car, cruising along the highway with the cheesy music. It was great. Oh, man. Chef's kiss.
That actually really did look like a cool shot, though. I was in the Jeep going around the mountain bend.
All right, they're allowed a few in the episode.
It looks good. I thought it was great.
The movie. There, that's fine. I'll allow it.
Best shot of the whole movie right there. Done.
And that's it. It's all downhill, folks. All right, and who's that voice that we hear in the voiceover? Well, it's Jennifer Aniston, of course.
Yes, and so Jennifer Aniston, she gets to play the spoiled teenager, and it looks like she's already aged past teenager.
Oh
already.
my god, right?
But
she claims to be, or she's 17, but she looks like she's at least like 25.
yeah.
At least.
Yeah.
I don't know. We should probably look that up, but I think she's probably about in her like mid-20s at this point. So there's
20.
no way. And I thought they were coming to this place because that was like she was like the granddaughter.
Yeah.
Like it was some family tie, and it wasn't. Like why
Oh,
didn't
to
you
the guy
go
who
with
had
that?
a stroke?
Yeah. Like why would you not go with that narrative? Okay.
Yeah, we're just gonna have a random person, and so she's like, "I have to be with my hick father in North Dakota."
Yeah.
And the dad says that he got a deal on the place. Like literally, they could have set up. There's a reason for the leprechaun to care about these people, not just a random deal on a foreclosed house.
Yeah. Oh, it was so dumb. So bad. But yeah, it would have made a better story if she was going to visit her grandparents who
or whatever, to take care of the old property or fix it up because
well, hold on.
Or whatever.
No, she was a spoiled girl from Beverly Hills. Was it Beverly Hills?
They just referenced Southern California and LA.
Yeah, this is somewhere in Southern California.
This isn't
not her.
There's
but
no
I meant,
mall.
What it meant was she went with her dad to go fix up the family place, and she was drugged along with.
Gotcha.
And that's what I meant by that. Not that she chose to go here, but that would have made more sense if she were forced to go there for that purpose. But no.
And then she does say "great deal" from who, and she's like, "What, from Dracula?" No, that would have been a good movie.
Wait, but that wouldn't make sense.
Nothing makes sense.
Dracula's in Transylvania and North Dakota, just like Leprechauns in North Dakota instead of Ireland.
Ireland and North Dakota. God, North Dakota, man, they've got it all.
North Dakota also surprisingly looks like California. In case anybody has never been to North Dakota, it actually is just California.
Yeah, because I'm pretty sure North Dakota does not look like this movie. So, just FYI.
And so then a tarantula crawls through, and it actually crawls through twice. And tarantulas don't make spider webs like that. That was, they're like, oh, here's a big spider. It wasn't biologically accurate, but okay.
Nope.
We just need to put a spider in here. Everybody got a tarantula?
They had tarantula budget.
Have a pet?
The tarantula budget. That's where the majority of the budget went. You got to have an animal wrangler. Yeah.
And so this is the point where they're in the basement. It's all nasty, and Jennifer Aniston just complaining about everything. And the dad literally waits for her lines to finish. You can see the guy who plays the dad, and he's just like waiting for her beats to end. He doesn't even care about anything at all.
No, he looks like a soap opera actor or something. He doesn't even look like a hick. I'm like, what are you talking about?
Right, that's okay. And then his outfit made him look like Smokey and the Bandit.
Yeah, I don't know. It just didn't make any sense.
It really didn't.
And I'm pretty sure he has the hots for Jennifer Aniston in real life too, because he was making eyes the whole time. So that was creepy. So yeah, great.
I'm just playing your dad, okay?
Yeah, just that. You can call me daddy later.
I'll take you to the mall.
Oh boy.
Hop in my Trans Am.
Trans Am, classic.
He looked like a guy that drive a Trans Am.
It's the Trans Am guy. All right.
And so then she's gonna leave, and it's 1993, so she has to have a big old cellular phone to rip out, or portable, as it were. And so she's so obsessed with her portable, she runs into paint thinner guy.
Right. Where did this guy come from?
Where did this guy come from? It was very if this was WandaVision, I would figure that he is like somebody from some different portal or universe or something.
But he shows up out of nowhere in the middle of nowhere, because that's where they are. They're in the middle of nowhere.
They literally are in the middle of nowhere, and there's no one around for miles, and then boom.
Actively painting their house. What?
Well, he was hired to paint the house. The guy
How was I supposed to know that? Who told me that? Nobody did. The film didn't. The dad didn't.
Oh, and also, if you are getting a home renovation, you do not paint the house before you do anything else on the house. It's like the last thing you do.
You just cover everything up with paint.
Just paint it. Done.
Paint over all those cracks and the rotted wood. It's cool, dude. No, it's good. It's fine. Sometimes I do that. If there's nail holes in a room that I've got to paint, I'm like, I'll just make sure that there are a lot of paint globs up in there so it'll dry all nice.
Well, the whole reason for the scene even happening is so that she would have a reason to stay, because he convinces her that she's a girl, and the girls are afraid of houses for some reason. And I'm like, okay, and so she'll show him.
Yeah, her stubbornness to prove that she's not afraid keeps her in North Dakota. She's literally going to the phone to go stay at a hotel, and there's no Leprechaun story at all. And the only reason that she's staying is because he made fun of her for being a scared person.
Yep. Fantastic.
Well, and the whole thing of her, she runs into him, he spills his paint, and then she's Okay, well, I'll just pay for the paint. Here, money. Here's money. Starts throwing money at him. It's like, how about just a sorry?
And she couldn't even do that.
I liked how much money she had. She gave him 20 for spilling paint thinner, and then she gave him another 20. It's 1993.
That's big bucks.
Yeah. Well, and if she's 17,
yeah.
Ugh. Well, she's from Beverly Hills or whatever, L.A. They're all rich in L.A. Isn't that how it's supposed to be?
Yeah, for sure. 1993.
Yeah, everybody's rich. They're all famous.
That's why you moved to LA, to be famous and have a bunch of money.
Jennifer Aniston.
I've seen the Beverly Hillbillies. I'm pretty sure that's how it works.
Indeed.
Good stuff.
And so now we transition to more character development. So we introduced Nathan. That was the guy she ran into. But now we have Ozzy and Alex, who have a whole fun dynamic.
And this is when the movie was it for me. I'm like, oh, man. Here come the two actors I've been waiting for. I had no idea they were going to be in this movie, but man, this was it. This is it. This is when Francis shows up from Pee-wee's Big Adventure. Oh, it's fantastic. And that kid that was in like every movie in 1993, but nothing, never ever again.
Every movie as a kid. He was everywhere.
I was in. I was like, this is it. This is going to be the best movie ever. Oh, Francis. But he's not Francis. He's Ozzy.
No, he's Ozzy.
Yeah.
He always has a unique name, though.
Yeah.
He's never like a Joe.
No.
He's
not your regular Joe.
Definitely not in this movie.
Anyway, so what happens with Ozzy and this other kid? I don't remember the name.
His name was Alex, and so he's also a smart Alex. But so Ozzy's telling
Danny.
magic story. Oh, it is Alex. Yep. Crazy.
Very nice.
No, Trevor's?
Thankfully.
Man. There's a Troy. Almost. There's a Troy. Almost got a Trevor out of him.
Oh, well.
And so Ozzy tells his magic stories. He's trying to... This kind of shows that Ozzy has a flair for the paranormal and just magical entities and stuff. So we can dismiss Ozzy offhand whenever he comes up with anything. But this also introduces Alex as being one of the most annoying characters. Like, I thought the kid in Babadook was annoying, but somehow Alex was like 5,000 times more annoying than the Babadook kid. I'd rather just have Alex scream hysterically for half the movie than just have all these like annoying aged up things. It was like that terrible
it was very aged
Judd
up.
Apatow movie where all the kids like say curse words and that's supposed to be funny. Like he just came out like last year or 2 years ago.
No,
same idea.
No.
I never find that funny.
I don't find that
kids
funny
say
either.
F words and stuff or sex jokes. I've never found it funny.
Yeah, it was weird. It was very weird.
Yeah, I'm not really into it either.
Nope.
And so then we transition back to the basement, and this is a fun scene where literally we didn't know how Nathan got into the house or why he's in the basement since he's supposed to be painting the outside, but he is. And so Jennifer Aniston's going down the stairs, and she says, Nathan, really loud. And there's no sound whatsoever. And then he literally throws a tarp onto her. And he says, I didn't know anybody was here. But first of all, why is he downstairs? Second of all, how did he not hear when there's no one around? You're in a basement. It is, there's no a single sound. And she says, Nathan, so loud.
Well, maybe he was looking for more paint thinner. That's what I took out of it. He was looking for more paint thinner down in the basement.
Paint thinner. I thought maybe it was like a thing like where he really is the leprechaun. But it wasn't.
That would be a better movie too.
Right? Dang it. We should write the updated version of this film is what we should do.
Yeah, let's do a movie retakes.
Yes, we'll do that. There you go. That's not our thing. So that's fine.
No, it's not. We'll leave that to the Sully brothers.
Yeah, we'll do that.
And so while they're screaming downstairs, they're screaming outside, and it turns out that Ozzy has the paint dumped on him, and he literally blew himself.
Yeah.
Oh, God, that's right.
Yeah.
I was like, Arrested Development stole this from Leprechaun.
It did.
I blew myself.
All right, Ed, if you're listening to this, please gift that or meme that or do something with it. Come on, please.
Don't use our faces, though.
Yeah, just use the movies and then the TV show. You don't have to use us. Ozzy. All right, Ozzy.
And so then Ozzy decides to go back into the house to wash off. And this paint must be washable because he does not have a little drop on him. He's like he goes to the sink and he's completely clean, and then he goes downstairs. He hears the little girl screaming, and he decides to investigate for whatever reason.
Well, first of all, I just want to mention the reason he's got this blue paint on his face. Yeah, but that's because they are painting this house like sky blue, like a dark blue, with extreme reds everywhere as well. So it's a very red, white, and blue house. It looks so goofy what they're painting it to. Sorry, that bothered me.
Oh, that's what bothered you for the whole film.
The whole movie, that's what bothered me.
That's what it is. Yeah.
The sharp blues and the sharp reds. Unbelievable. This is a St. Patty's Day movie. Make it a greenhouse.
I'm
glad you guys
with the greenhouse.
I'm glad you guys both smiled on that one because
very nice.
Anyways,
so Ozzy knocks the 4-leaf clover off the crate, the dead 4-leaf clover, and then the leprechaun bursts out and he literally says, "I'm back." Like he's the Terminator or something.
Yes.
And I'm back doesn't mean anything because no one knows who he is in the first
place.
What
are you talking about? We don't know who you are.
This is a Leprechaun too.
Yeah, we never really. Yeah. Oh my God. Why would he say that? Well, now I'm bothered by it.
I thought I watched this movie out of order. I'm like, is this number 2? Like, am I watching the right film? I have no idea.
And then he gets out his pipe and he says, "Got a light." And all I could think of was the terrible season 3 of Twin Peaks, of that episode 9 or whatever.
Oh, sir.
No.
We don't have to compare this to Twin Peaks.
It was close.
Move on.
Okay, so he says, "I'm back."
And then he gets to give his backstory. And so it turns out he's a shoemaker by trade. And he's going to cut your ear off and turn it into a shoe. And him being a shoemaker is going to play pivotal in the rest of this movie. So
the best scene ever.
Store that away.
All the worst ways.
Yes. All the best ways.
And then he has a toy bug on his arm that he eats.
I know. Oh, it's the fakest bug. It's like, he bought it at like the dollar store.
Yeah.
And Ozzy is down there watching this whole thing happen too.
Yeah.
Because he's the one who released the leprechaun from coming out.
Now,
I will say with these leprechaun movies, Warwick Davis, he didn't miss a beat. This guy played this part.
He played it up, man.
As terrible as these movies are, Warwick Davis really kind of makes these movies decent enough. I don't know. Is it
he brings it up to the 20% level that we're getting.
He knew that it was a joke. He knew that this was all just dumb, but he played it so good. I don't know why, but the leprechaun, just watch some of the clips on YouTube of him and just his accent. He didn't hold anything back for this, which was great.
Sure. He was over the top.
Yeah. You need to be over the top with how stupid the idea is, and he definitely delivers.
Right.
I'll agree with that.
It's almost like he knew that this was not going to be good, so why not just ham it up and be as goofy as possible?
Fun. Why not?
Everyone else in the movie was so stiff, too.
Yeah, he seemed like he was having a blast. That's just my take out of that.
And so then we have the fun special effects, the 1993 effects, where green light flies out of his fingertips to close the door. And they have some great special effects in this movie as we get going.
Really do.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Now, yeah. Very 1993 non-Jurassic Park special effects.
Yeah, like cartoon style drawings.
And so then he says that his magic wears off. So even though he closed the door, it opens again. Ozzy leaves and he gets to tell everybody and nobody believes him because it's Ozzy and he's already been prone to these crazy magical stories. Yes.
Well, he's looked at as an imbecile in a way. Like nobody looks at Ozzy as someone to be taken seriously for anything.
Yep.
So, yeah. His best friend is a little 11-year-old kid.
And were they brothers or were they friends? Like, who were these three guys?
I thought they were
to each other.
I don't
I don't know. Nothing was ever explained.
Their company is 3 guys that paint.
Right.
Yes.
But what kind of 3 guys? Are they 3
Yeah, what 3
friends?
guys are they?
Yeah.
Cousins?
And why are these 2 hanging out with a hunk like what's his name? Is it Troy? What's his name again?
Nathan.
I don't know what his name is.
With his feathered hair.
Yeah, and he had to go sleeveless the whole movie.
All the time, of course.
Hey man, when the sun's out, the guns are out.
Yep. And so then they all decide to go downstairs, and even though Ozzy was probably gone less than 5 minutes, they all have blue paint marks on them. Jennifer Aniston, Nathan, the little kid, they all have blue marks all over themselves. Like they've just been painting this whole time. They've been painting for like 4 hours.
Perfect blue paint too, not like splattered, but like perfectly.
Yeah, it's like somebody had a paintbrush and painted it on.
That's so weird. All right, yeah.
And then we have a rat jump scare downstairs because everybody's scared because Ozzy said there was a leprechaun. We don't believe him, but we're still going to be scared. And so, oh, it was a rat. And then we have the first shot of focusing on feet. So this movie has an obsession with feet camera. Like I understand it's supposed to be the leprechaun perspective, but at some points we even see the leprechaun in the same angle. So I don't know. There was like a feet fetish by the director
or the
producer or something, but yeah.
There's
I never really thought about that.
Nothing but feet shots throughout this whole film.
So many feet shots.
Oh my god, awkward at times too. Yeah,
especially
like the camera wobbling along with the feet too. I'm like, oh boy. Yeah.
So is this the point where Ozzy finds the rainbow?
So they go back outside and the rainbow's painted on the screen.
The painted on rainbow. Oh man,
the painted rainbow.
I don't suggest this movie for anybody. I'm already over it, man. This is so bad.
We're barely even in.
Barely even into the movie.
We're still on the character development parts.
Oh god. Oh.
Sadly, I think this is the last time we see that cool 49ers hat that Alex is wearing in the film.
So I wrote down terrible 49ers hat. So
but it was wearing a 49er hat in what's going on? Then that's strange to me. But
so anyways, we know at the end of the rainbow is a pot of gold.
And they find the end of the rainbow. It's at this old junkered truck. And magically, there's 1 coin in it. But then the bag of coins just appears. Like, it literally just magically appears in the truck. But I thought the old guy dug it, he buried it somewhere, right?
Yeah.
And who has magic other than the leprechaun? And the leprechaun is the one who wants the gold coin. So why is he, like, transporting it around just to mess with the people that he wants to... What's going on with the magic?
Why was there just one? Why was there just 1 coin for Ozzy to find?
Don't know.
And then the bag appears after that.
Unless if you touch the coin, the bag appears.
Maybe. Yeah, maybe.
I don't know. But nothing makes sense.
But that explanation is better than what happened on screen, so. Anyway, well, what happens to that 1 coin is got to be another one of those terrible cinematic moments.
Francis!
Before we get there, we do have to set up that Ozzy says he wants to buy comics every week. Now that he's found the gold coins, that's one of his goals. And then Alex's goal is an operation to make you smart. And
yes,
as sad as this movie is in terms of simplicity and development, this has a whole Flowers for Algernon philosophical idea of gaining intelligence. And it's really interesting. Like, they dabbled in this whole...
Why did you put that in your film, guys?
It doesn't fit in the film at all, and they could have gone into it so much more.
Oh, boy. And they didn't. It was weird, awkward.
It's definitely super... Like, without, like, that whole developing what happens of, ignorance is bliss idea, it really just is mean. There's no else for it.
That's pretty much what it was.
Unnecessarily mean.
Like,
especially
that
because later in the film, Alex is like, "Oh, I just told him that. I know surgery can't be done. I just told him that." But he doesn't want it. He never suggested it. You've never talked about it before. Why would you throw it in his face and just be mean for no reason?
But I don't think his intentions were mean when he originally said it.
But he's never brought it up. It doesn't like this. It could be that brain surgery we've always talked about. He just says it like, why?
Oh, we can now afford a brain surgery. What do I need a brain surgery for? To make you smart?
He's like, does that mean I'm not smart?
I think he knows he's not smart. He literally just swallowed a gold coin.
So he bites the coin to see that it's real. They pan to Alex, and then he comes back. Oh, oops.
Yeah, they can't even do that as a special effect.
So that's an interesting thing right there. Is okay. So what happens whenever you actually do bite into a gold coin? Because if I bite into a nickel, nothing's gonna happen.
Right, it's supposed to be softer. That's the whole point.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
It's softer, leaving indentation that proves that it's real gold, not fake gold.
Gotcha.
That's all. Yeah.
Okay.
But they don't explain that in the film either.
No.
So, yeah.
Oh, and before we move on, I just want to. Here's a little tidbit for you guys. Ozzy actually comes back in one of the movies. Like I think it was the very last one, number 8. Like the resurgence of it all. He comes back to reprise his role as Ozzy.
I'm gonna have to watch it now.
And it's something like well, I guess I don't want to spoil it. But then again, this is a whole spoiler thing.
Please don't spoil it.
Should I not? Do you not want to know?
No, I don't.
Let's just say the gold coin is still in him after 25 years.
Oh my god.
Yeah. So there you go. There. That's as much as I'm gonna say about Ozzy being in the new movie.
Wow. Well, shout out to that actor for
that actor, Mark Holton.
You need money.
Hey man, if I could reprise my role from 25 years ago, yeah, I'm gonna do it.
Sure.
You don't see Francis in very much that often.
Not really. No.
Yeah.
He did ask the question, they make fun of me. So he also didn't know that people made fun of him for being dumb.
Oh.
Alex just opened this whole can of worms for no reason whatsoever. Like they found gold and they could have just been happy with the gold coins and he had to bring them down. And so now we transition back to Jennifer Aniston. And this is that weird, creepy scene where she goes to the truck to like get more paint or whatever. And the leprechaun's underneath the truck and he's feeling on her legs. And she says, she's acting like, oh, it feels nice or whatever. Nathan, is that you caressing my legs? Literally, we've seen his hands. He has like these calloused, long-nailed hands. There's no way it would feel like caressing. It would feel like if it was like a crocodile was grabbing your leg.
It is like a hairy crocodile. Like, what are you thinking?
And she thinks that's how Nathan feels. It's probably time to move on.
Okay, hold on. Before even that, she's having a conversation with Nathan before she goes over to the truck. She sees Nathan at the wall, and he walks in the opposite direction of the truck, walks away from her, and she goes to the truck, and then she starts feeling this and goes, Nathan. Yeah, like, how would he have even done it? What kind of magic does Nathan have that he would appear under the truck?
It's the whole foot fetish thing. It's also a LA Gear ad is what this movie is.
Yes, right.
LA Gear ad for sure.
Yep.
Yeah. Every shot. Zoom in on that shoe. Let's talk about that shoe a lot. Whew, boy, oh boy. And it wasn't. Then she gets scratched.
And then she does get scratched. And they say it's just a possum.
She sees Nathan. She turns around and sees Nathan, and that's when she gets scratched.
Yep. Don't worry, it's just a possum. It's a feral possum. So then there's a cat stuck in a tree, and the dad's like, oh, I'll go investigate. I'm going to put my arm down this hole that is completely black. I can't see the end of this hole, and I hear a cat meowing. Any cat that's lost in a hole, and you put your arm down, it's going to scratch you. Regardless, like, this is a leprechaun, and it's going to be worse. But a cat's going to scratch you if you put your arm anywhere near it, no matter the cat.
Well, and right before that, she just got, like, crazy scratch from a feral possum.
Who could be also down the hole, too.
Who could be also in that hole. So, let's shove my hand in there. Wow.
All right.
We're gonna have to hurry this along.
Yeah,
man.
and
so
then he gets bit.
Oh my god!
So the dad gets bit right now, and literally he got bit on his hand. They show it, and it's bleeding. But literally, he goes to the ER, and they have to keep him overnight for observation. his hand was bit. And then we
That's
don't see the
what
dad
happened.
the rest of the episode.
I have a note. What happened to the dad? I completely forgot where he went. I'm like,
Rest
but
of
in
the
the movie,
entire
I think dad was part of this, wasn't he? Where is he? Thank you.
God, I didn't
Was
even
he-
realize that he never
Yeah.
shows back up.
Yeah,
He's in the ER for a hand bite by a possum.
why was he even in this movie? I don't know.
There was no reason for it.
He had to get Jennifer Aniston in North Dakota. That's what the dad's purpose was.
But she could have just been the daughter inheriting this house to come get it or something. Why? Whatever. Okay.
Yeah, whatever. Well, so hold it. So they drive away in the truck.
Before they drive away in the truck, also, the car doesn't start. And any way to fix a car, you open the hood, you slam your hand on a bunch of cords, and it works.
Always.
Because this is going to happen like 3 times in this movie.
Purrs like a kitten.
Yep.
And so then the leprechaun needs to catch up. And so he has a tricycle. I don't know where the tricycle came from, but it had this whole, like, it looked like Billy from Saw. Like, it looked like it was like inspiration for Saw when he's riding the little.
So goofy.
This is also when they first started speeding up the camera. They do this a lot with the leprechaun. They
do
increase the frame rate for him, and it's just it looks terrible. It doesn't look scary or creepy or anything. It just looks terrible.
That's right. They do it again in the wheelchair.
Yes, they do.
The wheelchair
scene goes on forever
because he never catches up.
No,
He's going like 100 miles per hour in the wheelchair. He
like,
never catches up.
So he's on a tricycle. He follows them to the hospital.
Yep. And they go and they have to get dinner. They go to the diner, and
this is the shoe.
The diner scene is fun because for some reason they decide to have a discussion. So she's a vegetarian and she complains about him eating steak. And then he brings up the idea, well, look at your shoes, they're made of leather. And they could have gone into a whole philosophical discussion of how people focus on, some blaming, it's a kind of superiority and ethics type of thing. But they didn't. They just left that line as is.
Yep.
It was like the Flowers for Algernon thing.
It was just a reason to look at the shoes. This is a shoe thing again. LA Gear. That's all it is. That's all this is. That's what this is.
LA Gear sponsored this movie. Without LA Gear, there'd be no Leprechaun.
There you go. And I'm pretty sure LA Gear. I don't even think that was real leather back then.
I don't think it was either.
So, was a
it's not like she's wearing leather boots or something. Yeah, it was a terrible, stupid thing to say.
Dumb. Anyway, yeah, that scene happened.
But it makes sense because she most likely owns some leather shoes somewhere.
Right, but she didn't wear them at the time. So
She pulls them off of her foot to put it on top of the table.
In a restaurant. Here, let me put your dirty shoe on the table. Great.
He also says you should eat some more. I don't want to say you're thin or something, but that was like,
whoa.
Geez, God, that was so cringy when he said it.
This is so early 90s. Oh boy.
I feel like this was
so
a real
in so many ways.
throwaway scene.
Yeah. So offensive. All right. Well, that scene happened.
Yeah, and so then Ozzy and Alex go to the collectible guy or whatever, and they're like, "Oh, look at this gold coin," and he's like,
yeah.
"Oh, I know what this is," and he has a book, and let me keep this overnight. Here's a receipt. Set that all up. But then the leprechaun's trike rides up to the collectible store, and the guy literally walks over to the safe to put the coin in, and he hears the ringing of a tricycle bell, and he turns around, and he's like, okay, cool. And then he goes back to the safe again, and then there's like this crashing noise, and he looks again, and then he goes back to the safe, and then the leprechaun smacks him against the wall and throws him on the ground and stuff. I think he would have given up on the safe.
Yeah, oh, for sure. I think I given up on the movie. It's just crazy. It's a wild that the decisions that they made for this movie. I don't know.
Right. Speaking of decisions, in this collectible store, he has a pogo stick. And so the leprechaun decides, after he bites the guy's leg, to get the pogo stick and pogo stick the guy to death. Literally, pogo stick on his chest to kill him.
Pogo sticks him.
Oh, what was the song? What was the song that he was singing?
It was something about let me pogo stick your
lungs
or something. Like, he jumps on his lungs. And somehow that stabs him, so he's bleeding everywhere. I'm like,
no, well, his face. His face is totally like
Yeah, I mean, I think he
mangled.
clawed him a few times, but still.
Yeah, the
like,
pogo
what?
stick was enough to like break his like sternum or something, and
Oh,
so
there's
it's
a
just
crack sound. Yeah, it was like a
Yeah.
crack.
I forgot though. Before that, the tricycle is literally rolled into the room and it runs against him, and he still opens the safe after that. He doesn't have any tricycles in his shop. He doesn't think it's weird that a tricycle literally
Nope.
rolled across the floor and hit him while he's opening the safe.
Not at all.
He
I
may
forgot
not
that.
have a tricycle, but he's got a motorized little car, perfect for our leprechaun.
Yes, because we got
yeah.
the leprechaun has to decide too. He longingly looks at the the trike, and then he looks at the motorized car. He has a tough time deciding.
How do you choose?
Oh god, this movie.
And so then he decides to drive the car out on the highway for no reason. Like, I don't know why he's on the highway, but this cop is there waiting for him, and the cop's eating a donut because he has to eat a donut. But he literally pulls him over. This guy riding this little thing, and he thinks he's a little kid. Aren't you late for your age? And he's like, I'm 600 years old. And the cop's like, oh, of course you are.
Take off that mask.
Oh, my
boy.
gosh.
Yeah, this scene was happening. It happened. Yeah.
Now, what did he do with the cop, though? I don't.
So then he grabs the cop's face.
This
Oh,
is the
that's
longest
Trying to
scene
rip
in
his
the
face
movie.
off.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then the cop gets away and he starts running. And this is when we get to the first thing where they zoom in on the cop. He's running as goofy as possible, where his legs are running like a cartoon character. And they're zoomed in onto his feet and legs. And the camera's shaking and going with the running. This whole sequence, man.
Yeah.
Because the leprechaun's chasing him. And so then the leprechaun kind of like has him cornered or whatever. And the cop's freaked out because this little thing that just scratched his face is chasing after him. But then he decides to play hide and seek with the cop. Like the cop's trying to get away.
In the woods. That's right.
And for some reason, the leprechaun is like, oh, here, let me hide behind the trees. Like the cop wasn't attacking him. The cop completely stops running away so he can play hide and seek with the leprechaun that he's scared to death of.
I swear this scene never ended. I think it's still happening right now.
It did. Because then he drops his hat down and he's running away and he stops. Hey, this is the leprechaun's hat. Let me stop running away from the guy who's attacking me to investigate his hat.
Yeah.
And
Well,
then he
and
thinks he completely gets away and he, rests at the base of the tree and he's like, oh, thank God that's over. And then the leprechaun comes down onto his neck and breaks his neck.
And he plays with his head. He sits there and bobs his dead head back and forth.
So this was a good bout of bad acting right here by the dead guy. Because his neck was broken. And Leprechaun is sitting there playing with his head, bobbing it back and forth. And like the last bob that he does, he like knocks his head. And it almost takes like a second or two for him to go, oh yeah, I'm supposed to move my head. Like he like waits a beat and it's like, oh, that looks so bad, dude. Yeah. I was not in on that.
No. There's a lot of voiceover acting in this as well.
That's what I was gonna say. Was the after effects of the sound, because he's running and they didn't pick up the audio while he's running, so they decided to re-record it afterwards, and the sound mixing and sound editing was like the worst I've ever seen in any movie or heard in any movie.
Yeah, I don't think that was a Foley stage. I think they were like just in somebody's like garage and just decided to record something real quick.
We couldn't hear you scream, and so now the scream's really loud, and it's not paced with his mouth being open.
Oh. No, there's a line in the beginning of the movie where Nathan talks for the first time and literally isn't even what he said. Like what he said was short and what he actually said on the overdub was long. It's like, what is happening in this film? So bad. Anyway.
Yeah, let's move on. We're not very far into this, are we?
Shoot. No.
And so then after he kills the cop, he decides to go back to the O'Grady farm. And he opens the door and there's Lucky Charms there right on the front because Lucky
Clovers.
Oh, it says Lucky Clovers?
It says Lucky Clovers on the box.
I didn't check.
Because the Rice Krispies said Rice Krispies, so I assumed they had some brand.
So it was, which is interesting because one of the last lines is
that right?
Is Lucky Charms. We'll get to that. He says
well, maybe
Lucky
you can
Charms.
say it but not show it. I don't know. I don't know.
Well, the box says Lucky. I'm looking at it right now. It says Lucky Clovers, and the mascot is a different type of leprechaun, not the same mascot that we know of from Lucky Charms. Yeah, Lucky. So that is weird because is it you can say it but you can't show it type of thing? I don't get it.
Maybe. I don't know.
And then he eats the Lucky Charms and then spits them out.
Yeah.
And the question I had is who, like this cereal, is it left from the O'Grady guy? Because they haven't had time to bring any groceries into the place. So is this 10-year-old cereal that's just been sitting there?
I never thought about that.
And then the kitchen itself definitely needs a remodel. It's like totally like a 70s kitchen. They need to get some like renovators in there quick.
It's bad.
Get Property Brothers.
Yeah.
Oh,
man.
Or not. They'll just do some surface stuff and then you'll have to do a lawsuit because you don't trust the shoddy work that they do. Current news.
Damn.
But you were on TV.
Aren't you lucky?
And then after he goes through the cereal and stuff, he decides to look himself in the mirror. And he literally loves the way he looks. He puts his thumb on his tongue and wipes it across his eyebrow.
He did a prog. It was great. Oh, yeah.
You guys kind of resemble each other.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Don't go out.
And then he sees the shoes on the table and he decides to clean all the shoes in the house.
Yes.
Okay, so this is
they even fast forwarded and they did like a cutscene transition because he's been cleaning shoes for like a few hours.
Oh, chef's kiss.
This was the start of something just absolutely terrible.
Beautiful, yeah.
No, come on, dude. Come on. Cleaning the shoes. Cleaning the shoes is gonna come. It's gonna come back later on in this movie,
right?
And he's
compulsive.
Worst.
He has to clean shoes. That's his downfall. That's his Achilles heel.
Achilles heel.
Let's. Oh God. Oh my God. Thank you, Prague, for being
pretty
here
good.
tonight.
Woo.
Okay, let's get to some of this stuff, man.
So after that, we go back to Alex, and he literally says, "No shit, Sherlock," for no reason.
Really? Yeah, I guess so. He has some really weird one-liners.
Why? It's just totally out of place. Like, they're having this whole conversation, and he just throws that out there, and I'm like, whatever. But the fun thing is, they then, well, maybe it's a bear outside, because they come back home, and they think it's a bear, and Ozzy's like, what if it's the leprechaun? And Jennifer Aniston hears him talk all about the leprechaun. He gives like 5 reasons, and she's like, we can theorize if it's a bear or not a bear all you want. Like, she didn't even acknowledge that he even said anything for like 5 minutes.
No, she's a terrible person. I don't know why. Whatever.
These guys are still wearing their... So the guy, Ozzy and the painters, they're all still wearing all this paint gear. Covered in paint. Like, Ozzy was drenched in paint. Right. But Jennifer Aniston looks like she had a full-on shower, totally clean. She's got no paint on her anywhere.
That's what happens when you have money.
But she does have on those awesome shorts. Just saying. With all the different designs. Yeah. Yes.
The shorts that had paint on them earlier in the movie, but we don't need to address that.
And they blew off.
And the fact that the bear, it could be a bear. When did bears start cleaning shoes?
I like that because all the food's gone through, but somebody cleaned all the shoes. It's a bear.
It's
a bear.
A bear. Duh.
That's what bears do. It's like Goldilocks and the 3 Bears. She's like, who cleaned all my shoes?
There you go.
There's
your analogy.
And then I wrote down that it's been 49 minutes and 37 seconds in this movie, and I've already gone through 2 pages of notes.
Oh my God.
I'm sorry, fans.
I gotta say thank you for taking notes because I
had to make use out of my time.
Oh, so bad.
And so Ozzy has the ring and bell that's on the trike, and he's ringing it, and then all of a sudden it's ringing, and they come out and they're like, Ozzy, stop ringing the bell, and it's just sitting on the table, and everyone looks at it sitting on the table,
And they're all
it's
like,
still ringing. Oh, what's going on?
Spooky.
I just like the way he said, "I found a bell." I was like, "I found a bell." Dang, dang. What? Okay, thanks, buddy.
And
Okay,
so
and
Nathan
then what
decides to
happens?
go outside after this because we hear rustling outside. And so this is when we see the terrible job they did painting, and they kind of left it half done on the paint job, and the terrible color schemes and how everything's rotten and all that good stuff. But the back room is lit in red. It's like there's a red light on, and they never go into what's the red light in the back room. That was my most intriguing of like what's going on in that back room. Nobody's lived there for 10 years. Nobody's been in the back room. The leprechaun's outside.
Never know.
Who's in the back room? Is it Mephisto? Who knows? So then we
Mephisto.
go back to the terrible camera to Nathan decides to stumble into the pear trap. Like literally, he's walking perfectly fine and he trips over air and slowly falls into the bear trap. This was great. And he says, "Ow, my leg."
Yeah.
You know how bad
Acting.
a bear trap would probably snap the bone of your leg.
Easily.
Yeah, you're done. Yeah, you're
Yeah.
done.
And he
Amputate
runs
yourself.
around on this leg the rest of the movie. It's great.
The whole like second
Oh my
hour of the
God.
film. It's bleeding out and everything.
I'm
Yep.
sorry.
Uh-huh.
Whose idea was it to do this movie? We could have done
Alex,
Disney Channel Luck of the Irish.
It was Alex's idea.
It was mine?
You suggested it.
Oh, I thought I suggested Luck of the Irish on Disney Channel.
No, we decided between the two, and we went with this one.
Yeah.
Okay, let's do it.
Yeah.
Hey, we're
Alex already
getting there.
have
We're
that.
getting there. We're halfway through.
The leprechaun comes out once Nathan is down, and then everyone else decides to come out of the house. And this is when he gets his first shotgun blast, and then they start kicking him and hitting him with rocks and sticks. And one of the rocks is foam. Like, it's like a piece of foam. They didn't even put the speckles on. They spray painted it gray, and they didn't shape it or anything. It's like literally a piece of foam.
Well, in this fight, the fight scene was terrible. It was like, and the sound effects too were awful too, because it was like,
And he kept like hitting him over and over again. Like, just punt him, like kick him.
I
Throw
felt
him. What are
so
you doing?
bad for Warwick Davis here.
Like, this scene reminded me of the scene in the Winchester where in Shaun of the Dead where they're all fighting the zombies and they're going around the zombies in a circle in the song. That was great.
Well, and if you guys noticed, so I guess they used a stunt actor for Warwick Davis at this point because he was about 2 feet taller.
Oh.
So you see, anytime that you see Warwick Davis's face, obviously that's Warwick Davis. But whenever it's just the back of his head and he's bouncing around everywhere, that's the stunt actor. And dude, he's like 2 feet taller and he's like crouching down trying to look smaller. And it did not work. It didn't work.
Oh.
But he's like dancing around the guy in the bear trap or whatever.
Yeah.
And so he's getting all beat like this, and he says, "You can't hurt me." And so then he gets another shotgun to the chest, and he goes into the bushes, and Nathan literally uses all of his ammo to shoot 6 shots, and like shotguns don't have that much, and he just shoots all of it into the
And he
bushes.
keeps
He's
shooting
like,
the same spot.
"Don't worry, I got him." Even though he has no signs of seeing him or anything. So then Ozzy decides to go inside and call the cops. Like literally anybody could have called the cops, and they have Ozzy go and call the cops. And the cops laugh at him because he says a leprechaun's attacking, and they're like, "Oh, Ozzy has another crazy story." And that's great and stuff. But literally they go, so he goes and says that. They go back in, and Jennifer Aniston tries to call the cops, and the phone line's dead. Like literally, he just made a call to the cops 1 minute ago, and now the phone line is dead. And there's no like power outages or storms or
no reason
the leprechaun's not busy cutting wires or anything.
Right.
Maybe he was.
Wow.
Phone line's dead.
Yeah. Really didn't even think about that.
Now she
And they
can
still
get her
haven't acknowledged that Ozzy is right. They literally just beat the leprechaun. They all saw the leprechaun. All of them. And they're like, no. It could still be a bear.
I don't know. I don't believe you. Oh my
Ozzy,
God.
stop with your crazy stories.
Okay, all right. So
And
where
then
are
they
we going
decide
next?
Now they just make a run for the car because they're tired of the phone lines being dead. And then the car doesn't start again. And so Alex goes out and he's literally just going to hit the chords again because that's all you do. But the leprechaun's in the hood of the car.
Of course.
And he's
Yeah, surprise.
surprise. Yeah, how did he get there? No one knows. He's magic, dude. He's magic. That's the best part about these movies is you could just blame everything on magic.
Yeah.
And he's also very strong because he jumps up on the hood and he breaks the windshield with one punch. You know how hard it is to break a windshield with a punch?
Well, and here's the thing. At the beginning of the movie, he said, I'm too weak to use my powers or whatever. I'm still too weak. Where and how is he gaining his powers? Oh, he got his gold. He got his gold a while back. That's back. Right. And he's looking for the one piece. Okay, never. So that's the whole reason he's chasing them down. Yes, because there's one piece in Ozzy's stomach.
Oh my God. Because Jennifer Aniston decided to give the bag back because they finally admit to having the bag of gold.
Right.
And then he counts it all, and he gets to 99 pieces.
Yep.
Okay, I totally forgot about that whole scene.
And then he reaches in and scratches Ozzy's ear. That was fun. Ow, my ear. That's exactly how he says it.
And then Jennifer Aniston gets the little lighter in the car. So they don't make lighters in the cars anymore.
No.
Because so that heats up way faster than they actually do. It literally, she pushes it in, and in 1 second, it's full on heat to put to his nose.
Yep. Yeah, I also loved how he held it to his nose.
He's like, oh my God.
Like, what did he stick to your face? What are you doing?
So then he makes a run to the barn and he decides to make a whole car inside the barn while they watch him doing it. And then they say, what is he doing?
What is he doing?
And so he comes out with, it's essentially a barrel with just pieces like, what are they called? Like pitchforks to the front.
Yeah.
Oh, pitchfork at the front. Yeah.
And he drives into the truck and that truck flips like 3 times in the air.
Somersaults across the air.
It was like the size of a go-kart.
Magic car that he had.
It is a go-kart. And it's
like a box car.
Yeah. And that was all that it took.
Man, that is one powerful box car.
And they survived it too. They're like crushed and everything.
They didn't get one. Nobody has a limp. Nobody has a cut after their car somersaults. Nobody has seatbelts on.
Because that truck didn't have seatbelts. There's no way.
Nope. Did not. All right. Well, they still gotta go somewhere, right? What was that?
Not even yet. Now they run back into the house because the car didn't work.
I forgot.
And this is when he closes the door hard enough that it cuts the leprechaun's hand off. And then the hand crawls up the door to open.
Oh boy. Yeah.
And he puts it back on and it reattaches itself. The hand crawling animation was very good.
Here, let me give you a hand.
This is ruining my St. Patty's Day. Okay.
Yeah, I blacked out, I think, at this point.
So the phone line's dead, and this is when Jennifer Aniston decides she remembers that she has a portable phone. And so she calls the police station. Yeah.
Like, portable, that's the word. I'm like, what is this awful word they keep using?
Yeah, so she calls the police station, and she gets through, but her phone dies on confirmation.
Right, so they're fine.
The sheriff calls it in, and we go back, and surprise, it's the cop who's been killed. But the fun thing about this, when you think about it, they answer it, like the leprechaun's sitting next to the dead cop in the car, right? But last we saw, the dead cop is out in the woods up against the tree. So did the leprechaun drag his body all the way back to the cop car, even though he can impersonate his voice and no one can see when he answers the radio?
Well, he thought he would have a nice sit in the car.
Yeah, now he's got a buddy.
The leprechaun transporting that big guy.
Now it's a buddy cop movie.
Yes.
Leprechaun and me.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Cool. So
This is when we have that weird flip transition. They rotate the camera
Ugh.
feed to just flip. Like, it's those fun 90s transitions. But this
Yeah.
is to that time where he's counting the gold that Alex talked about.
oh yeah, he parks the cop car next to the old beat up truck, and he's counting the gold and singing little limericks. I wish I could remember just one of the limericks. I can't even remember one of them.
Yeah, I saw how bad they were.
The pogo stick was probably the best one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
So there's not much else to say there.
No, but this is when he finds out that there's one missing. So he did jump the gun a bit. This is when he finds out it's in his stomach.
Right. And then this is when we get to see that cool electroskeleton effect where it just appears, where it shows kind of like his skeletal system.
Yeah.
Special effects.
That looked like, yeah, the special effects. That one looked like it was straight out of an 80s movie, but I actually really liked it. I thought it was fun. It looked like all of his veins were glowing green, and then he just appeared. I don't know. It was kind of fun. That one was a little fun.
Oh, there's fun elements in this movie, to be sure.
Yeah.
And so now we're going back to the
you
kitchen. You can mean what?
Okay.
No, what it was, you can see where this movie would take like a cult classic. Like it would hit cult classic. Like people love that type of cheese.
Sure. I enjoy aspects of
everybody.
that. Yeah. But this was hard. This was a hard watch.
And so now he's back into the house. So they're all back in the house, and they decide to get ice out for dude's broken leg or whatever. And so he goes in the fridge, and the leprechaun jumps out of the fridge. And then the oven wasn't on at all. But then they put his hand to the oven, and he has to spatula it off, even though the oven was not on.
He keeps sticking to hot things. It's so weird. I don't get it. Yeah.
And then this is where he starts jumping out of all the different cabinets. And this is where he grabs Nathan's crotch really quickly. Like, this was a weird crotch grab for no reason.
Yeah, that was bizarre.
Yeah. This whole scene was weird.
Yeah, this is where he's just chasing him around the house. He comes down the fire or the chimney, and he says, "Ho ho, this ain't Santa Claus."
And that's the thing, for this movie being a horror movie, like none of this stuff is scary that's happening.
Right. I can't imagine it was scary in
supposed to be
1993.
Maybe
it was scary back then. I don't know.
I mean, if you think about it, look at. I mean, Jurassic Park is considered in the scary movie horror genre, in a way, and
it's a tale of two directors, man. Let me tell you.
I guess so. Yeah. I guess you could see what money brings to certain movies.
That's true. That's for sure. Let's not get there too long. Let's get out of this house, please.
Well, in the house, though, after he comes down the chimney, he literally shotguns him in the chest, and he says he's dead. Like, after all this, do you really think he's dead?
No, because to the runtime, my nope is still going on.
Oh, and then they go upstairs running away. This is where he skateboards by, like 5 different times, just to mess with him.
Yeah. Fun time.
And he still somehow keeps getting ammo for the shotgun. He's used like 50 shells by now.
Yeah, that's a good call. The dude's got unlimited ammo.
Oh, yeah, maybe it's like the cheat code for that.
He's got a cheat code. That's what this movie is. He's got full-on cheat codes.
Yeah, it's confirmed. Game Genie confirmed.
Game Genie confirmed. Okay.
And so he also bursts up through the kitchen floor at one point, just because.
I forgot about that too. Yeah, I did. He did.
And then the dead phone rings. So the phone line is dead, but the phone rings, and she answers it, and it's the leprechaun with some stupid limerick or whatever. And so she hangs up, and then the baby hand comes out of the
full on Freddy Krueger. Like they ripped that straight from Freddy Krueger.
Yeah. Pretty much.
'Cause-
And she screams in horror. Oh, a little
Yeah,
hand.
because Freddy Krueger, didn't he like stick his tongue through the "Come on, baby, give me a kiss"? And
Yeah, he does that through the TV set too, and all sorts of things. Yeah, that's
oh yeah,
that's
the
his
TV
gimmick.
set as well. Anyways, so yeah,
That's his gimmick.
so how do they
I
get
don't know.
away
Does the
from?
movie end here?
Well,
I
I
don't
don't even
know.
know because he like just subsides or because he's outside and so he's calling on the phone and then she just hangs up or whatever and so they have time to just talk amongst themselves. And this is where Ozzy says maybe old man Grady knows.
That's
Like
right,
he's been sitting on this
still alive.
tidbit of info this whole time.
From his stroke, he lived through it, and he's now
He's at
sitting
the
in a
retirement
hospital.
home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how did they get away from the leprechaun at
And
this
so
point?
now how are they get so Jennifer Aniston decides I'm gonna leave. And so they get all the shoes
Oh,
and they just
this is it.
toss them into the
Best
field.
scene ever. Yes.
And he has to
So-
run to each shoe and
They
clean
don't
it as
realize-
she drives off.
He is
They don't realize that this is
skittering
his
around.
No, they don't realize that this is his Achilles heel, right? Yet they're still throwing shoes at him, and they see that he's shining them. So they just keep throwing shoes, and he has to shine them. It's great. It's such a great gag. It's the best scene at all time.
This was a really tough gag for me.
So,
It
hilarious.
definitely made me gag.
I mean, it's awful. Obviously, that's not what I meant by that. Being just, but yes, it's probably one of the worst, best scenes of all time, or the best
Well,
worst.
it was
scenes of all
like they tried to figure out a way to get rid of him.
Yeah, but he kept running to each shoe. Oh, and he makes
He would
those
start
sounds.
polishing, and then another shoe would land next to him.
Oh, it's
So
great.
bad.
Hilarious.
So she gets to the hospital, and the guy at the desk is asleep. So she's able to find where Grady is and just go to his room. So there's no like security at this old folks' home.
And then this
No,
is
he's
where
just-
they do the horror stuff where the camera tilts.
Dutch angled.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah,
all through the different corridors and they play creepy
Dutch
music
angle.
and stuff. Like something's gonna jump out of one of these old people's rooms or something.
And it was
No.
like weird lighting too, like very
There was reddish hues
purples
to everything.
and
yeah.
reds and ooh, spooky.
And this is juxtaposition to the leprechaun somehow getting rollerblades,
Oh my
going
god.
behind her
That's
car and going through the fence and leaving a Roger Rabbit type of silhouette.
An
Fantastic.
absolute cartoon.
There
This
was
is a
no
living
reason.
cartoon.
Oh, brilliant.
When people came to see this movie, they were like, all right, I'm going to see a scary movie. I'm going to be scared. This is horror. And then they get Roger Rabbit going through the fence.
Yep. That happened.
And then
But
we also
she finds Grady, right?
yeah, while she's walking through the hallways, we also have more LA Gear shots. Like this was
Oh,
probably the
yeah.
most LA Gear. This was like the Buick ad from WandaVision. Like it was totally scripted up for LA Gear.
Make sure you get a close up of the LA Gear font on her shoe, please, when you walk.
By
Okay?
the way, LA Gear still makes shoes, and they're
Oh,
hard
okay.
to find. Yeah.
Oh, I thought they were out of business. Wow.
No,
they want-
so
Shout
I
out
went
to LA Gear.
I went to Big Five the other day, and they had
Shout
LA
out to Big
Gears.
Five.
Yeah.
Actually, funny thing is, I bought a pair of
Oh,
LA
they open.
Gears. I don't think they're in here anymore, but yeah.
Dang. Well, it's all thanks to this movie being.
Oh
yeah,
yes, that
what?
I will definitely
Help them
say
out.
that it's this movie that
Yeah.
inspired me to get LA Gear at Big
Yeah.
Five.
keeping that business alive.
So she sees Grady sitting in the wheelchair,
Yeah, it's
looking
this
out the
little tiny
window.
guy in the wheelchair.
looking out the window longingly
And then
until he
he's
turns
telling fun
around.
Stories. Yep. And then it turns out it's the leprechaun in the wheelchair. And this is where the fun thing where we get the whole wheelchair scene, the wheelchair chase scene we referenced where he's going super fast. They accelerate the frame rate on him and she's running slow and he never catches up. And then she makes it to the elevator.
Oh yeah, she makes
never
it to the
catches
elevator
up.
and like goes in and still like the door's shut. She's just like sitting there panting. I mean, I thought he was in fast motion the whole time and he would have easily gotten up to her.
No,
And then you
no.
get to hear his wheelchair smash into the elevator door. Like weirdly.
It's
And then
almost
the
like
best part
Yeah, go ahead.
of the best part of the whole movie is next, where literally old man Grady is tossed down through the elevator, all bloody, but he is alive long enough to tell her that she needs a 4-leaf clover, and then he officially dies.
His last breath was a 4-leaf clover.
Yes.
Oh, God. It's
Why
all
does this
talk
movie
about
end?
exposition.
It was like halfway through the movie while they were making it, they were like, this is just too dumb. Let's crank the dumb to 11 here.
Yes.
Let's just go
Yes.
full balls to the wall. Awful.
Because wait, there's more.
Oh my God.
The rest
that's
of the
right.
movie happens, and it's so bad. All right, so she figures out the deal. I don't even know how she gets back home. I forget.
She just drives back home because she's perfectly fine. She has a Jeep or whatever.
Yeah,
Okay.
she drives home,
All right.
and then she starts searching, right?
Yeah, and so now there's this random clover patch in the middle of North Dakota, and for some reason there's a green floodlight
An
positioned
actual
onto this
green
clover
floodlight with a gel in it. Yes. They don't even try to hide the fact that it's
like you
light
can see
like
the
that.
green light on all the actors as they're digging through the
So
clovers.
bad. So bad.
They
And
might
then
as well have just spray painted the grass green.
that's what they do in California.
Oh, they do.
Jeez, why are they using a light?
Leprechaun jumps out and he says, "Little girls shouldn't look for 4-leaf clovers." Is that a thing?
Yeah,
I didn't
what?
get that. Why did he say little
that
girls
either.
shouldn't look for 4-leaf clovers?
I don't know.
Maybe it's the backstory of that little girl's voice that he's mimicking when he's singing Mary Had a Little Lamb at the start.
Oh.
I would have much rather have had a movie of him just killing Irish children in the Dark Ages or something.
They
That
could have made this super dark and gritty
They
and
could have,
really
but they
easy.
didn't.
Well, they tried to. They tried to make this gritty with origins. If you ever just look up, Leprechaun origins, and you'll see that like they changed Leprechaun totally into some creepy like monster looking thing.
Yeah, I'm okay.
Anyways, yeah.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I dreamed too big there. I take it back. I don't want that.
And so then, after that line, she runs back to the house, and this is where he's chasing her, and we get more of the leg running shot. She trips, stumbles, and falls, and he still doesn't catch up. And then they run into the cop car, and somehow she stabs his eye with a baton. So a baton has no sharp points on it. I don't know how
Right.
she was able to do that, and it breaks the baton off in his eye. And so this allows him to go and rip the eye out of the cop just so he could put it in as his eye. That was a fun scene.
That was pretty good. It was a little gnarly. I mean, here's the thing. Whoever was the makeup artist did a pretty decent job. Because Leprechaun looks good. And then, like, a few of the, like this scene was pretty good looking. Where he's ripping the eye out. Yeah.
Sure.
For sure. Yeah.
I'll allow it.
The Leprechaun is also, this is another ode to his strength. He rips the door off of the police car.
He's a strong guy, man.
He's not fast at all, dude. He's so slow.
Little legs can only carry you so far, even though he can transport.
He can teleport everywhere, but he still seems to chase.
It would have been perfect if he had just said the line, "Wait for me, I have tiny legs." He should have totally done the Full House move, but he didn't. Would have been perfect for the time too. Oh well. I didn't find it. So.
For some reason, Nathan and everybody shows up and they shotgun him again and say, "I heard you screaming." Even I don't know what's that supposed to mean. Yeah. Then somebody says, "Is it me you're looking for?" I forget who says it, but I wrote it down because it was funny.
Yeah. I thought the same thing.
Is it me you're looking for?
That one, yes.
Yep.
And then they go back in the house, and Ozzy talks about the Leprechaun, and for some reason, Jennifer Aniston lashes out at him and tells him how stupid he is, and the Leprechaun idea is stupid. She's like, literally just got information that you need a 4-leaf clover to defeat a Leprechaun, and she yells at him for being stupid, and the Leprechauns aren't real for some unknown reason.
It was the weirdest scene I've ever witnessed in film history. Like I'm like, you literally just got chased by a leprechaun for like a half an hour, and you're arguing with this guy about magic? Like what?
You're
Stop
digging
with your
in
magic nonsense.
a patch looking for 4-leaf clovers, and she's like, "No, this is stupid." And then
I
he
don't
says, "You
believe in
have to
magic."
believe." Oh,
Right?
I believe, and she pulls out a 4-leaf clover.
And cue spotlight number 2.
Oh no,
Gold light.
this was
Oh.
cheesy coloring that they did, like cheesy effects.
Oh, it was
They-
great.
yeah,
Though.
oh wow. Yep.
And
They
then
do
she
a lot
does
of this.
close up of her hand, like perfectly holding it.
Yeah.
Oh, so great.
Yep.
Oh God, what happens next? They go into the
And
barn.
then,
Something.
yeah, they're going. Everybody's running to the barn, and so Leprechaun comes back, and Ozzy tells him that I ate the gold coin, that last gold coin you're looking for. And then he says, "Well, it's your belly I want." But for some reason, he starts scratching his face, even though
Yeah.
he
What?
knows it's in his stomach. Whatever. And then this is where, for some reason, this is a weird trend. I had to rewind because
Yeah, I had
Jennifer
to watch this
Aniston
part too.
runs to the barn, and she has the
Yes.
4-leaf clover.
She's holding it out.
She just holds it as the leprechaun runs by. She doesn't know what to do
Yeah,
with it.
she's like, I don't know what to do.
But then Alex, I guess, grabbed it and didn't tear it in half or something, even though their hands touch. It was pretty much a high five. But he has the full-on leprechaun, or the 4-leaf clover, and then he ties it to his gum. And then this is based on the slingshot from earlier in the movie. He uses it, and he says, "F you, Lucky Charms," and he somehow hits him in the mouth with the gum and the 4-leaf clover.
Yeah.
Perfect placement in the mouth.
Climax.
This is where some really good makeup happens, where Leprechaun just starts melting.
I wrote down oozing is pretty great because him dissolving was pretty damn great.
It's
It was
pretty
very-
creepy, dude. Like,
it was
because
very
he's
ground-
even like trying to
Yeah.
throw some limericks out while he's dying.
It was a good
Gremlins.
Gremlins.
But the final scene in Gremlins, raising
Yep,
the
it's-
Yeah.
it was good. We'll give it that.
And because he's like all the other Freddy, Jason, and Chucky, he comes back to life. Just to get smacked in the face one more time.
Of course.
And then they decide to toss down, or he pulls lighter fluid all down. He throws a match, and this time the match, he doesn't have a stroke, or this Nathan doesn't have a stroke, and he tops the match. And then there's great nuclear bomb type explosion, mushroom
Yes.
cloud, out of
course.
the well.
'Cause that's what happens when you
Because
like gets it on fire.
obviously, when you're lighting with lighter fluid, explosions happen. Like
Yeah.
dynamite explosions.
Yes.
Like Vision being thrown into an RV explosion.
Yes. It was a great
Oh.
effect, though. Oh,
They
boy.
blew their whole budget on explosions.
on that, they filmed that scene on the first day, and they're like, "Crap, how are we gonna make this whole
What do
movie?"
we do with the rest?
Oh, and then we get a
And now-
voiceover that he's still alive. So yay.
There's somebody who says, "Oh, so I think Nathan or one of Alex says really boringly, we did it."
Yeah.
Oh my god.
And then the cops swerve in and it ends. We don't have any like summation of anything. I think Ozzy at one point says that I'm really smart. See how smart I am that I came up with it.
Yeah.
And that was about
Yeah.
And it just ends. There's no like transition
No.
effects. There's no talking to
No.
the cops. There's no what happened to the dad or
No.
anything.
Nothing.
If a
It just
leprechaun
ends.
scratches you, do you have some kind of like rabies type of leprechaun infection?
Do you turn into a leprechaun?
Yeah.
We'll never know.
Who knows?
I mean, Ozzy is sitting there bleeding out and dying.
That's
and
true.
does the whole nose joke instead of, I
Yes.
don't know.
He's over that. Everybody's over dying, or they were dead the whole time.
Oh man, I think
So-
I was the whole time because this was a stinker.
I'm really glad that this is over, and I want to apologize to our fans that we did this. But but I did want to say that this movie, its budget was $900,000,
Hmm.
and it so
Shows.
check this out. Opening weekend, this movie made $2.5 million.
Success.
Success.
Wow, that is a success.
That's 8
Unfortunate.
movie success.
It is. I don't want to talk
900,000.
about this anymore.
I wonder if
Right.
I could make this movie for less than 900,000.
Easily. Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, you could
Really?
film this
Nowadays,
whole movie
yeah,
on
because you
an
have
iPhone.
computers now. Yeah.
All you need is about $25 for the LA gears and and a stupid leprechaun mask.
Yeah.
Here's another crazy thing is that over the years it's hit about $9 million gross. So, I mean, it didn't do great after opening weekend, but at the same time, like that's kind of wild.
And think how many people are going to sign up for Peacock that Leprechaun's on the platform. Like Netflix, is crying over not having
We missed our opportunity. Damn you, Peacock.
We hope everyone has an awesome St. Patrick's Day.
Yes,
You don't
be
have to
safe
watch
out there.
Leprechaun now because we did it for you. That's
We
our
just
gift
talked
to you.
longer than the movie.
I think this is right about the movie length.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, actually, it is. Yeah, 92 minutes, it said. So, yeah. We just got,
Awesome.
another minute to do? Hey, I want to give a shout out real quick to the people who have made it this far. Thank you very much. Last week I said the same thing, and someone actually commented on our YouTube page saying, hey,
You are mentally
guys-
deranged.
you guys said to say hi if you made it this far. And I'm like, no way, this guy made it. That's great. That's awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So
thank
what's
you.
better, Babadook or Leprechaun?
Ooh, Babadook. I would rather watch the Babadook again because I feel like I would get, I still am a little scared of Babadook.
Babadook
I
is
know that
trash.
we
I'd rather
ripped-
watch this.
No.
I'd rather watch neither, but I would rather watch this movie because at least it's like hilariously fun. Bad,
This was
whereas
funny
Babadook
bad.
is just bad. Like,
Yeah.
I would rather watch Babadook.
Babadook's trying too hard, but Babadook, it's definitely scary. The problem with Leprechaun, though, it wasn't even as bad as it could have been. I feel like it was still boringly bad. It wasn't like so bad it's hilarious.
yeah, that was his main failing. I think it wasn't even hilariously bad enough.
Yeah.
I think if I wanted a bit of a chuckle, I would put this on, but that's about it. I mean, it's such a tough watch.
Oh, it is.
Babadook, I at least was intrigued, and I watched it. I've seen it twice, and I was both times, I'm like, oh, shoot, this is scary. I'm scared.
Yeah, I'm
Okay.
scared of Andy because of that movie. Yeah.
So be sure to watch our previous versions of our Secondary Heroes podcast as we review all kinds of awesome stuff and just wait for what we talk about next. This is your host, Trevor, and we'll talk to you next time.
Danny out.
Yep, leprechauning away.